Evening, everyone. Just wait a Ben, Adam, Tony. How is everyone this weekend? Good evening, Tony. Tony, how are you? Rach, how are you? You good? Has been active since last missed call. Brenda, you okay? Let's get this thing to work. So we're going to wait a couple of minutes as I always do. Tom, how are you? Okay? Derby legend, what's been going off at Derby recently? Wow. All good though. I'm excellent. Really good. KC. So this is a interesting one. Nick says up the Rams. Good evening, Steph. Oh, is that right, Tom? Is that confirmed? Or is that what you wish? So we're going to just wait another minute or so before we get ready to roll. Oh, wow. Oh, Mark, that's made me tickle. That's a bigger mug than Brucey if he goes to Villa. That's tickled me, that. Ah, dear, I tell you what. That's not bad. So, obviously, over the last few weeks, I think months now, we've been doing different topics. And I really appreciate what you guys are doing behind the scenes. Even up to the last couple of days, people have been debating previous shows, and I know they've been meeting each other behind, obviously behind what you see. Dion, how are you? They've been meeting each other behind what's been going off on the Facebook and helping out, and it's been really good to see that it doesn't just stop here. And like I said, all the topics that I do are not opinionated, they're not my opinion. They're heavily influenced by, obviously, Bible. And also they are factual as well. So I do a lot of reading on facts. Dean, yes, I can remember you in this video. So yeah, I do a lot of reading on facts, so it's very factual, it's very, very biblical, and try to stimulate debate. There's no agenda here, there's no I'm not right or wrong. It's just a great opportunity for people to reach out and maybe further a little bit of understanding. And if one person is helped, if one person finds help off the back of this, then I think it would be great. Ah, Sophia, how are you? there's quite a few people tuning in tonight because the story is on marriage. Yeah, Brenda, I'll speak with you later because obviously I am on here now, so it'd be great if we could catch up after this debate. Before we go into the debate, I'm also appealing for people who are on air who might be specialists. So those that might be helpful with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, those who may be able to offer advice and guidance to people who maybe have suicide thoughts, anybody who is working in a particular category, please do send me a message after the show, or maybe during the week, because this is something that we want to roll out now. It's been quite a few well-attended Sunday evenings, and people are asking for this to go into community centres, but what's the point in going into somewhere if you don't have the specialist help to cater for those that might be struggling? So yes, we can do Q&As, yes, we can stimulate debate, but I would love if specialists would make themselves known. Okay. So today's subject is, hold on, let me just get this right. I want to set this up right. Beautiful. Okay, so Kevin says, marriage is an important one for me. Unfortunately, I can't be with you tonight, but we'll catch you up on tonight's topic. I recently married, but I'm in a poor health, which is causing our marriage problems as we aren't living together because of it. It's putting a mega strain on our marriage. Okay. Wow, Mr. J. A tough one. Kate McClure, widowed from one who committed suicide and divorce after 16 years when he ran off. Committed suicide and divorce after 16 years when you ran off. What it meant for me in person. Yeah. Vaughan Richards has said he was quite happy to help. That's brilliant. Yeah. And he says he's getting married next year at Pride Park up the Ramsey. Okay. So life is a journey that doesn't last long enough. That's better. Marriage is an agreement that is between two consenting adults, and this is ordained by God as a holy ceremony. Where's my drink? The sad fact is that modern society is now moving away from the traditions and values that marriage bring. There are a host of reasons why the present society deem marriage not fit for purpose, why people don't value marriage. There's quite a few reasons, but marriage is a godly environment in which to love one another, and also it's a great environment to bring young children up and witness the security, the love and the respect that marriage should bring. And now I understand that all marriages work out for the good, but in some way, shape or form, the values of what marriage are and should uphold have been broken. Been with Paul 20 years, only got married last year at the Mighty Blues. I remember that. I wasn't married yet, but after 11 years together and a beautiful son, my other half has lost the enthusiasm. And I'm going to touch on that as well, Mark. So marriage should bring a lot of happiness. It should bring in a tight environment that supports you, your dreams, your thoughts, your aspirations. But somewhere down the line, whether it's the man who's fell out with love or boredom, and there's lots of reasons for why, which I'll come on to, and society at the minute doesn't help that. The integrity, what people and other males and females hold marriage in is quite disappointing. So what do I mean by that? Well, nowadays it seems cool if you are dating a married woman. Nowadays it seems cool if you are dating a married man. And that's what I mean by the integrity that society has for marriage. And sadly, these are the facts, and I'm going to come to these facts now. So I'm going to put that right there. So the facts are 42% of marriages end in divorce. The risk of divorce in a second marriage is higher. These are facts. These are not opinions. So please don't, think, oh, Michael's having a go. I'm not having a go. These are facts. The average marriage couple have sex 68.5 times a year. So if there's 52 weeks in a year, doesn't take a magician to work out, that is just over once a week. Who's that? Will you marry me? Let's have a look. I've been married for 3 years in Germany. The main reason we got married was down to my wife. Darren. Ty, what's happening? 1 in every 5 married couples have a sexless marriage, having less than 10 encounters over the year. 75% of people who marry partners from an affair eventually end up in a divorce. Couples who live together before engagement have a higher divorce rate than those who wait. Those who marry in teens have a higher chance of divorce. The age of 22 to 23 and beyond is deemed as the age which to marry from, because from then you're starting to show maturity. Thinking that having a child and then get married is proven by stats that a higher percentage of those that do that will end in divorce. Doesn't mean it's always going to end up in divorce, but if you as a man or a woman think that having a child, and sometimes, and listen, I had my child out of wedlock, my first son. Daz, I love you, Daz. So thinking that having a child out of wedlock, and I had my first child who's now 12, going on 13, they're saying that it's proven by stats that a higher percentage of those marriages after the child is born will end up in divorce. That's stats. I broke one of those stats because, touch wood, I've not ended up in divorce. Sean says, I'm not religious, and marriage, if I remember right, it was a very religious thing. And to this day, many people still do it for religious reasons. Myself still thinks marriage is important, as it's a sign of love, commitment, promise, and not just it's a nice thing. If I get with a girl and maybe have a 78% of the statistics are made up. I don't think this one is made up, Darren, because I've read this on numerous occasions with different stats. As I don't just go through one. I make sure that I read and read and read and read and read. And it's quite consistent with what I read. Holy, what is going on? So, it's also proven that couples who share their faith and have a faith, proving that couples who share the faith have a decreased likelihood that they will be divorced, as they have something to fall back on. Most reasons for divorce, guess what they are? 1, lack of sex. 2, not attracted. 3, boredom. 3, abuse, conflict, and cheating on your partner. But a lot of these facts can be intercepted if the channels of interaction and communication are open before it gets too far. Yes, Colton. Vic, how are you? I know that you're just about to get married, so good luck with it. So I have some questions to ask. Do you really understand your partner? Do you know your partner's likes and dislikes? You wrote me in as well, by the way. Do you understand your partner's likes and dislikes? I got married because I love Paul. I have a different surname to my kids, and Paul had no parental rights over my 2 oldest. If anything was to happen to me, wouldn't have a say. Wasn't having that, so booked the day, and what a day it was. Well said, Tony. So what core values do you need your partner to know about so it will maintain your happiness? So everybody's got core values. So what core values do you have? And these should be shared with your partner, because your partner needs to understand what rubs you up the right way, what gets you irritated, and what do you need to feel happy. What sort of things do you value? Because if your values are challenged, evening, John and Lisa. You know I like fish, don't you, Lisa? So if your core values are challenged and your other half doesn't know that, then that also could bring up many issues. And a woman's needs are very different to a man's needs. So a woman's needs are very emotional. Women like to talk. Women like to feel valued, whereas a man, a lot of it is here and now. So it's important that the channels of discussions are quite clear, so we know what we would like, I know what my partner would like, and therefore I understand what makes her happy, what she doesn't like, what she likes, and vice versa. And I think that's a great place to start, is open the channels for talking, to make sure that you understand, you know about each other, and you understand what each one of your core values are, so somebody knows how to make you happy. I just think having a loving home. I just think that having a loving home, knowing things that don't need to be said, left alone, I just think it's most important. Okay, so a woman's need is completely different to a man's. So when selecting your partner, and this is really important, that you don't just base who you would like based on looks, based on age, based on money, because one day the looks will dry up. We all get old, we all age, and some people are, obsessed with, just the way that somebody looks, or are they financially secure, or are they financially rich? But for me, for me, there was a lot of things about selecting the right person, and then what was the heart of that person like? What was the integrity, the honesty, the trustworthiness of that person? It was vital for me to find out about more than just what was superficial. Obviously, it helps if somebody is good looking, but there's more to it than just looks. And nowadays, a lot of people are focused on, she's got big breasts, she's got long legs. I'm hearing stuff about women asking about a bloke's jawline and, his colour of his eyes, and that's all well and good. But let's not, fall away from this. One of the key things for me is, what's the person like as a person, as an individual? What does that person's core values? Does he portray those core values, or she portrays those core values? Because ultimately that will come out. And when, like I said, when all the, the makeup's gone and everything, and they wake up in the morning and then their hair is, what you need to know what the person is like. And for me, that is one of the most important factors that I tell my sons, my nieces, is to make sure that you don't just look at the superficial things, that you investigate and make sure this person meets up to what your core values are. So I also say to particularly women is that you should ask a lot of questions. How many children does this person want? What career are you after? Do you like fitness? Do you have a job? What are your expectations of me? Do you have brothers and sisters? You need to know about this person. If this is somebody that you are potentially looking at making a real life, making a long life with. Marriage is serious. It's a commitment to one another. This is something that you don't just go into if you don't really know the intentions of what this person has for you. It really is. And this is why, you need to seek advice, and you need to make sure that you know this person, you know their traits, you know what they're about, or else there's a lot of sad stories about divorces and stuff because people don't really know who they're getting married to. The first few years are obviously always exciting. It's getting to know each other and it's that nice part. But then after a while, the years tick by, and this is where it really, really does test your marriage. So how do we maintain this as the years go and children come into the equation? Okay, so let's discuss a woman. Now, this is going to get interesting now. This is where it starts to open up. I'm going to move this. I need a drink. Women, from what I've read and what I've asked and spoken to, women need security. And this is one of the core values of what marriage should bring, is security for a woman. One of the core values of security for a woman is security. Marriage gives you that secure environment that you should flourish in. And it says in the Bible that husbands should love your wife as Christ loved the church. A man should meet his wife's needs. He needs to guide her, to protect her, to serve, and sacrifice himself for his wife. Sacrifice for yourself for your wife. Your wife should be the most important thing. You need to serve, you need to guide, you need to provide, you need to protect your wife. A husband needs to be sensitive to your wife's needs. You need to understand your wife and what she's going through and be aware of how she feels. Women love to be feel loved, and women love to feel secure. Don't lack in romance. Buy her flowers, send her a text. I know some men write poems and send poems via text and leave little notes around the house. Give her your coat if she's cold. Open doors. Hold her hand when you're walking in town or somewhere. Hug your wife and kiss her. Show intimacy in your words. Show her that you care. You know, what I mean by intimacy in the words is that you ask questions. You know, you're talking about day of work. Be interested in it. Ask her how do you work in that environment? How do you expect to climb the ladder? And just show some real intimacy in your words by showing that you care. Embrace her and without any expectation other than your true love and loyalty towards her. You should take time out to listen to your wife and show her that you're fully locked in. Don't be reading a newspaper while you're talking to her. And I've been at fault for, take her to a champagne bar. Women need to feel loved to have sex. Men need to have sex to feel love. And I'm going to come to that one as well, Tony. When a woman's talking to you, show her that she's got your undivided, loyal attention. Don't be reading the newspaper. Don't be texting. And that was one of my big faults, was I was texting at particular times, and you can't do that. When I spoke with her, and this is what is great about our open relationship, I sat and listened, and that's something now I don't do. If we have a conversation, it's locked off. My wife has my full and undivided attention. So listen to her and be inquisitive with your responses. This is now where the two are now becoming one. You make your wife feel valued. Women like to talk. Make sure she's talking to you and make sure you are listening. Sadly, some couples sadly don't have affection until the man touches his wife for the first time in a week or 2 weeks or a month, because he wants something. So all what we've just mentioned about the romance side, the flowers, the texting, the door opening, the coat, holding hands, some men just don't do that period. So how do you think it feels when that happens, and then 2 weeks down the line you want something, and then you want to go and touch your wife? Your wife should be within your rights to say, and probably doesn't feel comfortable doing what you're expecting it to do. But then this is where the resentment fills up. This is where the resentment fills up. This is where women now start to feel that they're not valued this could end up in divorce, because the only time they feel any kind of emotion from a man is when the man wants to lay down with the woman in the bed. So what happened to all the days, the hours, the minutes, when you just read the newspaper, when you're coming and watching football, when you're falling asleep, when you're eating your dinner? What happened to all those times when you're not interested, but all of a sudden now you want to get some? So women like to feel loved. They like to feel involved. Open channels are so important so that you can both approach each other to discuss such points with respect and love. This needs to be discussed. There shouldn't be situations where a man's lying in the bed and a woman doesn't feel any emotional attachment to him, and a man's lying in the bed and the man doesn't feel any emotional attachment to the woman. This should be where open channels need to be discussed, and the key words are with respect and love. Not blaming anybody, not pointing fingers, but just sharing how you really feel. And the person on the other end needs to listen with respect and love, because this is the only way that you can move together as a partnership. And if you was in a business environment and your business partners sat around a board table and discussed, you might be coming to some heated debates, but it's for the best of the business to move forward. This is no different. You two are in an agreement. You've made a contractual agreement. There might be a problem here, but both of you need to come to the table and discuss with respect and love how best to move forward without a non-judgmental atmosphere. And this is again now where it starts to get really deep, as many boys and girls are not shown love in their family homes when they were young. So when boys and girls now become men and women and they get older, they struggle to show love because they've never seen it in their homes. They've never seen mum and dad do it. They've never had love met to them. They've never been told I love you by the parents. Today's society, the gang culture says like you need to be hard, you need to be stone faced. Women now are moving to that sort of environment, young girls. So if that's what they've been taught, then all of a sudden they meet somebody, then some of these youngsters who are now men and now women find it very difficult to show love, to show compassion, because they've never had this taught to them over the years. So it's important that us, as their mothers and dads, must break this stereotypical nonsense that you cannot show love to your children, because whatever you're showing now, I guarantee you in years to come, it's going to come through your children. So it's important that we break that. Okay? So the more you give as a man, the more happy and intent and sexual your wife will feel. But your actions must be out of sincere love, sincere trustworthiness and integrity, that you are being you because you love your wife, not to get something back in return. So it's important that we show the real true core values of how a man should treat his wife. That is one of the most emotional things that a woman wants, is to feel valued, to feel loved, and to feel secure. I'll come back to that, Brenda, because I don't want to veer away from this. Okay, so this is the kink now. This is the one. Women want to be submissive to their men, but the man must be on point to gain her submission. Let me just say that again. A woman wants to be submissive to her man. A woman wants to be submissive to her man. But, here's the but, the man must be on point to gain her submission. So let's go biblical, because this is where, oh, my wife's just joined. Hey. So this is now where we go biblical. Okay. The book of Ephesians, this is what it says in the book of Ephesians. Be subject to one another out of reverence for Christ. Wives, be subject to your husbands as you are to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, just as Christ is the head of the church, the body of which he is the Saviour, just as the church is subject to Christ. So the church is subject to Christ. So also wives ought to be in everything to their husbands. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ died for the church. Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Basically, man, we're supposed to die if need be for our wives. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as they do their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one ever hates his own body, but nourishes and tenderly cares for it, just as Christ does for the church. Because we are members of his body, for this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. This is a great mystery, and I am applying it to Christ and the church. Each of you, however, should love his wife as himself, and a wife should respect her husband. It's deep. A woman will be more inclined to be submissive. And what I mean by submissive, I don't mean a slave or a servant. Not at all. I don't mean submissive in that shape or way or form. But a man should lead his environment. A man should be a leader. A man should be the provider. The man should be the one who the wife, the family turn to in his home. But it's not just given to you. It's not just a woman should submit for you. It's not just that you lead. There's some core responsibilities that encourage a woman to follow, but whoever they're following need to be on point. Okay. So, a woman will be more inclined to be submissive if a man shows her loyalty. Big words here. If a man shows her respect, integrity, honesty, love, and most importantly, trust. Let me say that again. A woman will be more inclined to be submissive. So the Bible says that a woman would want to be submissive, should be submissive to her husband, not boyfriend, her husband. If you're getting married for a reason, because you love this man. This man shows you love in the fact that you're ready now to be married to him. So when you get married to this person that you have chosen, that you love with all your heart, body, soul and mind, this is what Christ is saying. Because you have opted for marriage to this individual who was showing some key core responsibilities that you adore. That's why now it's saying be submissive to your husband. But in order for you to be submissive, your husband needs to continue with the traits that you saw in him, that you said, this is the guy that I want to get married to. And I think that's the clearest way I can make it. It's not about slavery. It's not about you ain't got no. It starts with the man first. And the man has to be on point to allow a woman to be submissive to that individual. A woman will be more inclined to be submissive to a man if the man shows her loyalty, if the man shows her respect, if the man shows integrity, if the man is honest, if the man shows love, and most importantly, if there's trust involved. Yep, spot on, Lisa. A woman will be more than happy to bring a cup of tea for you. A woman will be more than happy to bring you rice and peas on a Sunday. A woman will be more than happy to wash your dirty clothes if core needs are met. Proverbs 31 verse 10 says, "Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far more worth than rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil." Now I'm going to touch on the men. A man should lead. A man should guide, protect, provide for his queen and his family. A woman can do this. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted, men. A woman can do this. That's why a woman is so fabulous. A woman can do this herself. But this is the primary job of a male, of a real man. You are the lion in your household. You are the one who's supposed to go out there, provide for his family. And then what? When you provide, you let your children and your wife eat first. There's some hopeless men out there, and I have to pull you up. You're supposed to be the man in the yard, yeah? Go out there and provide for your family. And when you do bring home something for your family, you let your wife dictate where that goes first. This is what I'm saying about provide for your family. Protect your family. Guide your family. This is your family. And when you do bring something home, let them eat first, not you. I would much rather go without, period. But my woman and my children have to eat before me. Women don't want dominating, they don't want abuse, they don't want to be dictated to. But it's your job to come up with leadership suggestions. And leadership suggestions like, where do we want this family to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Do you fancy going away next year, babes? Where do you want to go to? Let's start to think about where we're going to go to. You know what? I'm going to take you out next week. I want to don't go anywhere Friday. Just keep Friday free. We're going out somewhere. We need to look at our budget. Stuff like that. Now the two of you are becoming one. This is what God expected. The two now are working together in tandem, fulfilling God's purpose for your marriage. Two becoming one. Talk to your wife. Ask her about a day. Take real interest. Engage with her totally. Don't grunt. Yes, some men, they want you. Answer your woman back with respect. She wants to connect to your world. She wants to be part of your world. Recognize and acknowledge when your wife has made an effort. Is her hair looking good? Is her nails done? Has she done you a nice meal? Is the home clean? Is the bath run? Anything she just goes out her way to do to impress you, recognize it. Because if you don't, what's the point of her doing it? And then when you wanted to do it, and now she's not doing it because you don't recognize it, now there's a problem. So you recognize that she's gone out of her way to make sure in some way, shape or form, she's been submissive to your needs because you're on point by looking good, by preparing you a nice meal, by maybe tidying up the home, by making sure that life is a little bit more easier for you when you come home. Open and honest. This is the thing for me. Open and honest communication is the key. People don't talk, or they do talk, but they don't have a real talk. That was one of the main reasons for marriages going to divorce, because people just don't talk, and when they do, it's too late. So it's important that there is open and honest communication. The word honest, respectful, and in love. A husband must be man enough to conquer the lusts. You've got to be man enough to conquer whatever lust, you've got to kill them. And if you think you're smart, a woman knows. Trust me, I know. A woman knows. A woman has a sixth sense. A woman is a smart individual. So if you think you're out there and you're doing what you're doing without a woman knowing, she may be putting up with it, but a woman knows. They have a feeling, they have a sixth sense. The thing about this is that when you're abusing the home, you're only abusing yourself, because you are now one. So whether that's shouting, Lisa says, if a woman asks you a question, she already knows the answer. Vic says, women know before we do. Vic, that's made me laugh. But you're right. A woman has a sixth sense. Boy, the way God created a woman is dangerous. A woman has a sixth sense and knows. She probably won't say anything because she loves you that much. But trust me, is it worth it? Shouting, emotional, abuse, sexual, you are hurting yourself. And you're hurting those who are hearing and witnessing these things. This is your children. When you are doing damage to your own marriage, when you're doing what you're doing, when you're shouting, when you're beating, when you're out there doing what you're doing outside the home, you are hurting yourself, because the two now are one. So in effect, you're killing yourself. Even though you don't realize it, because sometimes you're looking at your wife thinking, no, that's my wife, it's separate. No. The two of you are one. You've got to work together through thick and thin. So when you are doing what you're doing, you're only hurting yourself. And by that I mean internally, you're killing your wife. Internally, you're killing the family environment, which, if you are blessed to have children, means your children. And your children will be such that they won't say much. They might not let you know, but they know. I'll speak to you about that afterwards, Brenda. So marriage is for us to build the foundation of a godly home full of love, togetherness, fun, honesty, guidance, protection, and trust. And it is godly because marriage is sanctified by God. Whether we uphold godly principles is a different ballgame. None of us are perfect, but we all have a purpose. None of us are perfect. We are human beings. However, we all have a purpose to fill while we're on this earth. If we have either slipped up, try talking in a non-judgmental manner. Try just having a conversation. Try to get to the bottom of it. Because in the marriage we say it's till death do us part. Don't quit. Don't give in. Your marriage will be stronger once you go through the tough times that will inevitably come. That's what marriage is. It's ups and downs. In the stress of the gym, that's when you get stronger. That's when your muscles, like these bad boys here, that's when your muscles grow when you put them under stress. So sometimes when your marriage goes through stress, which it will do, then you come through it together as a couple, and that's when you grow. And the way you come through it is talk to each other, have regular conversation, talk about the most intimate, the most darkest things in the corners that you need to talk, because if you don't, it's festering away. So it's important, and that's why the stats said one of the number one things why people suffer divorce, because they don't talk about things that are really close to your chest. Are you going to build your life on firm foundations of love and of marriage? Or are you going to follow the example that the world sets? For me, I want to build my life, my family life, on the firm foundations of love and marriage in a biblical manner. I choose to build it on those foundations rather than the foundations that the world seems to be setting me at the minute. These rules for men and women do not come as a caveat. I will submit to him if he does his bit. I will put her at the centre of everything if she submits to me. No, it's spot on, John. No, it's down to each of us, male or female, to uphold our part of the contract regardless of the actions of the partner. Okay, so the more you talk and invest time and are open, the more you kill suspicion. You kill all the attacks on a spiritual, on a physical level against marriage. And let me say this right now. People know that I'm a spiritual guy. There is spiritual attacks left, right, centre on marriage right now. There's no getting away from it. That's what it is. Now, when I was of the world, when I was doing what I was doing unbeknown, I was having sex outside marriage. That was thought it was the norm. But sex is sacred. Sex is something that is God-given for marriage. And people probably weren't going to like me for saying that, but that's fact. That's the reality of what it is. Sex is when two become one. Yep, Bender says, best not to go to bed without speakers. The next day you might never know what might be taken. They say that you should never go to bed with anger in your heart. My mother always said all women are different, but we do the same thing. Perfect. I've been married for 19 years, but it takes two to make a marriage work. Spot on. It does take two. The man has to do his part, which, as we said, is show all core values. Be a leader, be a guider, be a protector, open doors, show that you love, respect, honour. A man has to do that to enable his wife to say that this is the guy that I'm going to live and choose to be with for the rest of my life, and be submissive. It works as a peer partnering. That's what it is, marriage. But sex is sacred. When you have sex, there's a transfusion of blood. And this is why it's sacred. You need to understand that whoever you lay down with, and listen, don't think I've been squeaky clean, because I haven't. But the more I read, the more I educate, the more spiritual I become, the more wisdom I gain, I start to understand. Thanks Liam, that it's sacred. It's something that God ordained for marriage. If you're single, be patient. Have a look. See who's around. Ask questions. But don't be fooled by just the looks or money. Find out about this. And let's get deep. Certain times you see certain Chris women or Chris man with other art that possibly isn't the greatest looking. But you have to understand that sometimes that's where beauty is, in the heart. Great if you can find a good looking person, great if you can find somebody who has faith. But it's great when you can find somebody who has some real core values and uphold a certain standard of life. So like Adam in the Garden of Eden, God seeing that the person was on his own, had somebody in mind for Adam. Like Adam, your lady's supposed to be side by side. Look where God took the lady from the side of Adam, from his rib. Took the rib from the side of the man to make a woman. A woman and a man supposed to be side by side, not the man in front or behind, side by side in marriage. So winding down a little bit now. So men, take up your God-given duty and lead, love, nurture, respect, provide, lay down your life if necessary. Standard, lay it down. Emotionally be supportive to your wife, your family. Women, if your man is on point, if your man is on point and shows all the key characteristics we've just mentioned, be submissive to him. Don't be submissive to any jackass who's beating you or... No. It's not about that. Man's got to show you that he loves you with a undying love. This is why you get married to him, because the way he's shown you love, this is the man you want to spend the rest of your life with. Am I saying women shouldn't have careers? Of course women should have careers. Some great women, some great leaders. But when you come into the home, when you come back from your chief exec job where you're earning 200 grand a year, Miss, I don't know, Oprah Winfrey. When you got your big job, yeah, and you come into the family home, know that now I need to look after my man. No, Wayne Rooney, when you come back from kicking ball and you just bang one in the top corner. No, you need to come back and look after your woman and your family. Know that you need to support, nurture, guide, protect. Take off your coat, open doors, lay down your life if necessary for your wife. And then a woman would be submissive. If you ain't getting that, ain't happening. Coming down. So women, if your man is on point, be submissive to him, care for him, be a provider for him, be the carer, the softest touch in his life, enrich him. Practically organize, surprise, still dress up for each other. You dress up for each other, keep in shape for one another, still be attractive to one another. Look after yourself, your hair, your skin, your teeth, etc. But be more attractive on the inside to one another, and acknowledge when the other half's gone out of the way to be more attractive to you. Show your friends and your family, and most of all your children, that this is the way, and this is what it's all about. This is why marriage is wonderful. Communication and honesty is vital. Just talk. But be respectful and be open and be listening. Involve each other in decision making. You're both each other's best friend. Talk about your plans for the future. Share your thoughts. Mold your future together. Have an open process. If you can't talk freely with your other half, something's wrong. Be loving, touch each other, embrace each other, show love and kindness and affection. And if theirs is not enough, regardless of age or years of marriage, talk. Don't let no man or demonic power separate what God has ordained for you. Before I go, I'm going to show you something. 1 minute. Just going to show you something. See my friend do this, he was really good. Okay. So this is your wife now, right? The two become one. Okay? If this, the other half to this, is not fully connected with the wife, you leave certain parts of your wife exposed. Look at it, it won't quite cover up. So this is not whole. It's not fulfilled. She's not getting what she needs from the husband. Still a little bit opened. When you are boyfriend and girlfriend, the person isn't feeling whole. Yes, it's great. Yes, it might be wonderful. But it's not 100% yours. So there's still a little bit exposed. No matter where the husband goes, it won't fit anything else. Won't fit me aftershave. Won't fit the bottle. Won't fit this cream. This is designed for one thing. And it's only when that one thing, it decides this is where I belong, then you have a perfect fit. Now the woman is covered, everything inside, your children, your family environment is protected. Nothing can get inside unless you allow it to. Don't leave it half open, don't leave it off, don't leave it misguided, misprotected. This is yours, this is where you belong. And it's only when the cap fits on it, this now becomes whole. All inside is protected. Your woman is protected. Now it's time for you to nurture and grow this environment, because this is yours. It's a Sanex. Sanex for men, by the way. Was I perfect? No. No, I'm talking for a man who's messed up. It's only by the grace of God that I can stand here today to explain to you marriage and the importance of marriage, the importance of love inside a relationship, the importance of sanctified, holy and sacred sex, and the importance of what it means for family life going forward. Don't get twisted. Don't get fooled by the world putting out sex left, right, and centre. There is no better place than to have that one person that you feel loyal to. And sometimes it's difficult, because sometimes that person gives you hell, and sometimes mistakes happen and people get divorced. If you can, fight for it. If not, it wasn't meant to be. But don't be frightened off that if you failed once, that it won't happen a second time. I honestly believe this is the way forward for many of our youth today. But it's up to us as parents to show them the way. This fits nice. So, after the difficult subject of marriage, we're done for another Sunday. So if you feel this has benefited you in any way, shape or form, please feel free to share this. It's important that God's message does get out and about in the communities, on Facebook, wherever it must go. As always, have a great week. Love you all. Be blessed. Stay cool and enjoy married life. See you later, guys.